Woo! That was loud. You can see I'm in a slightly different environment here. I'm down the farm. I've been working on the studio for the last 6 weeks, and we're about halfway there, getting things ready. And I'm hoping to do some really interesting YouTube content for you soon in this space. You know, it's a place where I can just crank the amps like you can hear there. I'd never be able to do that where I normally do my videos. You know, you'd be able to. I'd have so many complaints, it's unbelievable. But this is a great space that we're working on here. Acoustically, it's coming together, and we're just working on it. You know, it's a work in progress. But hopefully in the next 6 months, we'll start getting really good content out, band kind of stuff, and you know, stuff where we can crank the amps. So today is just a bit of a loosey-goosey session. I've just set up my phone. So there's no super audio going down here, but my brother-in-law has brought over this Vox Ac30 from 1970. He lives in London, and he's had this amp for a while, and it has a bit of a history about it, in that apparently it used to be owned by a man from Aerosmith, Steve Perry, is it? And then he gave it to Gavin Rossdale from the band Bush. They were on tour together. Gavin's amp went down. He gave him a lend of his AC30, ended up keeping it. And then it got passed on. I think a deal was done somewhere with Gavin Rossdale from Bush to a friend of Gareth's, my brother-in-law, and he's ended up with it anyway. But it's a great sounding amp. I don't know how you can prove any of that, but it seems to, the story seems to kind of run true as far as I know. If you're a big Aerosmith fan or Bush fan, maybe you'll have some photos from the mid-90s to early 2000s or something from the tours. Maybe this amp will be in the background. It's quite distinctive with the ripped cloth there. Anyway, it's a 1970. Whether it's true or not, I don't really care. It's a really cool amp. It sounds great. I tried it yesterday with the Telecaster that I keep around here, and I thought, I bet it sounds amazing with the Les Paul. So I brought the Les Paul down today and cranked it up, and really, really good fun. So what I've got here is, now I'm really rubbish with amps. Like, I just kind of plug in and tweak around, and if they sound good, I'm in. If I can't get a good sound in 30 seconds, I'm kind of out. You know, so. But I've always loved kind of Voxes. For some reason, I've never really been able to get a bad sound out of a Vox. There's, you know, the AC30s, and I think, you know, a lot of people are the same, and that's why they're so popular. They're so easy to use. So, like, with me not being an expert on these things, you know, I'm leaving myself open here to the guitar experts of YouTube. But anyway, what do I know? It's from 1970. On the front it says top boost reverb, but there is no reverb on this amp, and I don't think there's a top boost either, because it's a very clean amp, so it doesn't really break up. I've got a tube screamer in front of it, so if I turn it up on full, this is the AC30 on full in the normal channel. But it's not as dirty as you might think. It's probably really overloaded the camera there, my phone anyway, but we'll deal with that later. But it's actually a kind of amp which doesn't really massively, it's obviously distorted there, but it's not like what you would get if you put an overdrive. So this is, now the amp is at halfway, and I put a tube screamer in front of it. it's just a great rock and roll sound, you know. So it's pretty good with the old woman tone thing as well. If I turn my my tone about halfway, you know. Just a really fantastic amp. So, you know, maybe I'm opening a discussion here. If you know anything about this amp in particular, as in it used to be owned by Aerosmith, used to be owned by the band Bush, or if you, just in general, you know stuff about 1970 Voxes. I don't really know anything. But I like the sound of it. And, you know, what's kind of weird is that yesterday, he actually has two Voxes. He brought over a modern one of those Valvetronic ones, which has got a lot of digital stuff in it, and I plugged that in comparison. It was like, there was no comparison. That sounded just like a real rock and roll amp, and the other thing was just like thin and weedy, and just there was no way you could use it after playing through that. So anyway, I hope you're all well out there. I know this is a bit of a loosey-goosey video today, but I just thought I'd share this amp with you, and you know, this is what guitar playing's all about, isn't it? Cranking up. So, you know, if you see the opportunity to get an early Vox, I'd say get one, you know. And sounds great, boosted with a, you know, I know the big thing is with treble boosters, isn't it? You know, to get that Brian May, Tony Iommi, Rory Gallagher thing. But, you know, the Tube Screamer does a pretty good job on it, you know.